also so that what we worked on, so the genetic resources, the breeding, the seed quality, seed health, also the on-farm variety testing, and what we saw on the key exploitable results, what breeding can contribute to the organic farming and the needs of organic farming, and also provide solutions for the development of organic farming. And today we would like to discuss about vegetable organic production in Europe and its perspective. And as I said, so we already saw a lot of solutions, but there are also a lot of bottlenecks in organic farming. And we're focusing on breeding mainly in this project, but of course there's the whole value chain. And we would like to reflect this today in this panel discussion. And I'm very, very happy, as I said, that you are here, so the experts in the room, but also the experts online, and to discuss about the bottlenecks and also how the BREZOV results can feed into solving these challenges that we are seeing ahead. And first of all, so before introducing you step by step, before you give your single interventions, I would like to invite Monika Mesper, the deputy leader of the Department of Crop Sciences and leader of the group plant breeding at FIBO Switzerland, and also heavily involved in the live-stream project, to present a really short presentation, giving short information about organic vegetable production and its perspectives in Europe.
Do you need this slide?
No, Monika will share on her own.
So I switch the camera from the present for the monitor.
So Monika, if you would like to share your presentation, perfect. We already see it.
You see it already on the big side?
Yes.
Great, thanks a lot. I want to thank you very much for inviting me to this round table. I'm very sorry that I can't be with you in Sicily. I really would have enjoyed to be there and discuss in person, but I try my best to give also some input from Switzerland, from this side. And so I wanted to try to give you some overview about the organic vegetable sector in Europe, and also come back to some challenges and opportunities, and also what kind of feedback organic breeding or input organic breeding can give to that. Here's just the latest number that we have collected from the World of Organic. That's the statistics that have been updated year by year. These are the numbers of 2021, and actually here you see the growth of the organic area that has been raised in the European Union. That's the dark arrow below, of up to 15.6 million hectares, that it's about 9.6% of the whole agricultural land that has been done in the in European states, where it's, if you look at whole Europe, it's about 3.9%. And then another very important market is also to see how the growth of the market has been raising. So there has been also since 2020 up to 2020, you see a constant raise in the value, 46.6 billion euros, which is quite a big number. And they're the largest organic market are actually in Germany, France, Italy, Switzerland, and UK. And the highest share of organic, it's in Denmark, followed by Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Sweden, and Germany with 7%. Here it's a special graphic that really looks at the data of the vegetables that we have. So you can see, 1 second, I just need to move. So you see on one side the total area of organic vegetable in the European Union, it's 212,000 hectares, and the share of the organic vegetable, it's about 10.6%, so it's higher than the average share that I have shown before when we look at all crops and all farming systems that we look at. We can also see that there are the biggest areas. There you can easily see that Italy, France really have very big areas. Vegetable but Luxembourg with 41%, followed by Denmark with 37%, and Austria with 30%, and then dropping a bit down to the other countries. Below you can also see the steady rise of the area, but then we look at the total area of vegetables, organic vegetables of the total organic land. It is only 1.3%. And of the distribution of the different vegetables, it's not very detailed in different species, as the data are not as precisely assessed with that, but you can see that the big amount is by vegetable fruits, by leafy vegetables and root vegetables. And we are coming now to seed and organic plant breeding. Was introduced. I have been live seed and following up project live seeding, and there our aim is really to boost the organic seed and plant breeding sector. And what we wanted to achieve is actually to, on one side, to make sure that all the organic seed that is used in organic farming systems are really multiplied under organic conditions. And as you can see here, the different colors, like the green one, light green one would be conventionally bred cultivars that are organically multiplied. And you see that we're still at the stage where we still have quite a lot of orange. That's actually conventionally bred cultivars and also propagated under conventional condition. And then it's sold as non-organic, untreated seed. And there it's with the new organic regulation, it's really a push to remove the derogations, latest by 2036. And I think that's very important that there's also now a backup from the political level to really move the sector forward, because in the past it has been done very slowly. And then besides that, we also wanted to improve organic breeding that really breeds under organic condition and specifically for the needs of the organic sector. With, oops. Sorry, in the wrong direction. With the fan case, first of all, we want to increase the production of high quality organic seed, but we also want to improve the organic plant breeding to really have organic right from the start. I also wanted to show you how it's a situation that we have assessed in live seed in 2016, that we're going to follow up in the next years. Where we have been looking at the rate of percentage of organic seed used. You see the pies, the dark one are organically certified seed that has been bought from the seed outlets, where the light green ones are farm safe seed, organic, but then the orange ones are actually conventional non-organic seed. And there you see that there's also a big difference between the different crops, and also for the vegetables, more than half of it, when we looked at some strategic crops, are non-organic seed. So there is a big effort we have to do to improve that situation. Also, when it comes to organic breeding, and when we discuss later on, I also wanted to make sure that there's on one side quite important that there has been different cultivar types being developed that also have been officially recognized and entered the organic regulation. We also differentiate between organic plant breeding that really has been conducted in organic breeding programs under organic farming conditions, and does not maintain techniques that are not allowed according to the IFOAM standards on organic breeding. And there is also breeding for organic, which means that maybe not all steps are conducted under organic conditions, but the aims are very much focused on the organic sector and also certain steps of the selection have been done under organic, and also the cultivars have been tested if they're really suited under organic production. But it's quite an important differentiation between the two parts. There's a lot of friction between the different actors. Just to highlight some part what breeding really can do and what organic breeding specifically has been boosting in the past. That is like breeding for diversity. That means diversity of crops and cropping systems, diversity of landscapes. That then eventually also leads to food diversity, and also of course, the genetic diversity within the crop species. And I think it's really one of the big requirements for making us fit for climate change and to adjust to climate change. Of course, it's also very important to look at participatory and culinary breeding approaches that have been conducted in the Live Seed project. I also wanted to mention the efforts that we are running and still doing in the very exciting field to breeding for improved microbiome symbiosis with the plants that could improve the resilience of the plant. We are already seeing some publications showing the impact of domestication and breeding that might have caused to a loss or to an unbalanced microbiome, which could of course be converted also. And just to give some food for thoughts for the discussion later on, I just wanted to ask some questions where I see the opportunities and highlights, and starting maybe with the challenges. The challenges that we face is really climate change. We have increased pest and disease pressures in large-scale production, and as organic gets growing, of course, also it gets more and more industrialized. So we really need to see how we can overcome monoculture and also malnutrition resulting from a small number of crops, and make sure that we get more resilient crops. Still a big lack of locally adapted cultivars with high resilience and marketable yield. And there I think it's really important that we can close the gap between, on one side, the open pollinated cultivars, and on the other side, the very homogeneous and marketed on a global level. So I think we really need to make sure that we have everything in between also covered and make available to the farmers. We also face, especially in the last year, the high energy costs, and we also know that vegetables in many cases are very water and nutrient demanding. So we really have to see how we can improve nutrient cycling, and also to see how we can reduce the CO2 emissions that are resulting from the production and processing of organic vegetables. There's also a challenge, as we mentioned in one of the discussions before, that there's an increased application of self-fusion and now also with new genomic techniques. That will be a problem for the organic sector who does not embrace these techniques and that are not allowed in the organic sector. Or in some like self-fusion, it's officially allowed, but not in all private label organizations. And there we have to make sure how, on one side, that we can avoid contaminations, but on the other side, we have to also make sure how we find alliance, that also in future we have access to genetic resources and can participate on the breeding game with a larger community. And as I said at the beginning, there's a challenge to really reach this 100% organic seed for all vegetables in 12 years, which is quite a long time. But seeing the difficulties that we faced in the past, it's a lot to do. And there I also see that it's very important that we can harmonize the implementation across all the European member states, and how we can work together there with the national authorities to develop roadmaps, that we are not waiting till 2 years before, but that we start right away to getting closer to the 100% organic seed. Also considering that we want to increase the organic land that is now 10% for the organic vegetables up to 25% by the 2030. And also have been observed from the data that we have from the organic production, and that there is still a growing organic market. But we also see that there's been quite a big shift from the specialty markets to the supermarket, and that also we have to make sure how we can further up increase that market, but also how we can ensure that we create in future consumer awareness about the importance of organic farming, the importance of organic seed, and also the importance of organic breeding. And with this, I thank you very much for your attention.
Monica, thank you very much for this very comprehensive overview, touching upon a lot of important aspects. So regarding the numbers, I feel here we are in the right region. So organic, so Italy is having the largest organic area organic area in Europe. So that's really nice. You highlighted a lot of challenges and important aspects. So I would like to postpone this discussion and open questions until the point when every panelist introduced him or herself and gave a short statement. And so, Monica, you already touched on also some regulatory aspects. And I think that's also very important. And with that, I would like to give the floor to Patricia Piton, a representative of the European Commission of DG Agri Unit for Organics. And she will give us information about the regulatory developments, political framework, and so what's also needed to enable growth in the sector from a regulatory point of view. Patricia, are you here? So she
Yes.
join online.
Yes,
Really nice.
Yes, I hope you can hear me. Good afternoon.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. As yesterday I had the pleasure to be part of the introduction session, and I gave already a presentation on some relevant issues, but I would like just to bring your attention, in fact, to the fact that said the legislative frame is fully applicable from January 2022, not only in terms of basic act, but as well in terms of secondary legislation relevant as well for the sector of plant reproductive material concerning the more detailed provision related to the potential derogation for the use of non-organic material in case of lack of availability, the importance of the new rules on the organic heterogeneous material, which have been adopted in 2021. And as well, I brought the attention to the fact that we try, indeed, like Monica was underlining, to try to improve the harmonization in terms of implementation, also with the document that is there available on our webpage on the frequently asked question that we receive for clarification rules, and the chapter is dedicated to the plant reproductive material, and as well with the synthesis of the legislation which are available on our web. The legislative framework is there, is stable, and is a good asset for our organic action plan. And the organic action plan indeed aim to support, to achieve, to move towards the achievement of the 25% objective. And this said is structuring with three main axes that have already identified more than 20 action measures that could really boost the sector. We have focused the attention on the increase of the demand on the side of the consumer, and there are several actions that could really be and are already giving some results in terms of promotion of the organic products, in terms of increase the uptake of organics in the green public procurement at level of public canteen, as was mentioned also today, the increase of the uptake of the organic products as well in the European school schemes in terms of vegetables and fruits, organic vegetables and fruits, and then as well several other actions that are aiming to strengthen the consumer trust and the consumer reliance on the European logo that are ongoing in terms of enforcement, and as well at the European level, a new initiative that was launched last year, the European Award, and again this year it's been quite successful, and this year is again open, the call are open, and could also be an interesting platform for some organic nurseries to apply and to promote this activity ongoing. And then as well the setting of the organic year, organic day in September. And as well the second axis to stimulate the increase the conversion to organic at the farm level, and there, as I said, important the fact that in the national strategic plans under the common agricultural policy, all member states have indeed identified the target of organic to be increased in terms of surface agricultural land and organic, but it's important also to underline that with respect to the data of 2020, there has been a duplication in terms of potential financial support on the area involved in organic production in this sense. And as well, we are working, as you know, on the strengthening the training and the dissemination and the exchange to promote the best practice, also with respect to the action plan at European level with the delegates of all member states in a specific political group of ambassadors on organic, and to develop at European level also a new set of sector analysis that could be of great value for the development of the specific marketing area. And these are, I just mentioned some of the main actions that are ongoing. And then in the third axis, we would indeed target the increase of the sustainability of the organic as a whole. And there, in particular, the enhancement of the biodiversity and the increase of the yields through the breeding of your work this 2 days. What I could listen is really absolutely wonderful, the achievement and the importance also that has been underlined to find also a way to spread this information, to bring this information to the producer, to the organic nurseries, to the organic farmers, in order to improve the use of this type of bred organic varieties, as said by Monica, that we are still quite far from achievement the 100%. And I say that there are several projects ongoing, not only for the breeding, but as well for all the development of the techniques that are fundamental as the inorganic, the reduction of the use of external input is principle and objective also to find out a way to respect and to increase the soil fertility are quite important, and several actions are ongoing on this type of technique, and as well important to strengthen the farm advisory services as a whole, and there we have a specific under the BREZOV Europe work program for 2023-24, the development of a network of advisory service for organic. This would be the first, and this is very important to achieve in this area. For the moment, I would say that with respect to the increase of the organic and conversion availability of plant reproductive material, important action that are also ongoing are linked to the monitoring of what indeed member states are currently doing in terms of issuing of derogation, and we are indeed trying to improve our collection of the data in cooperation with FIBON, and to make this as much as possible transparent in terms of information on the varieties which are currently for the different species of crops which are currently available at European level and in the different member states. This is our aim, that this will be the first year. In June we will receive the first data from member states, and we intended to work to make this data more and more transparent, available on our web. For the moment, I would stop here, and then we can then discuss with the question and session as well.
Thank you very much for your thoughts and also for the overview on the new organic regulation. It was really interesting to hear also that there's now this FAQ document. I think that's always relevant when a new regulation comes into place, that there still continue to be open questions on that. And what I really also took with the organic action plan so is that demand is really key to create this process, and so that's this stimulation you mentioned. That I think that's really key, a key challenge to solve also. With that, I would like to hand over to Marcel van Diemen, who is manager of breeding facilities and breeder at Vitalis Organic Seeds, and will provide us with the breeder's perspective on and the bottlenecks he's facing in this in breeding for organics. And he asked us to show in the background not the slide we provided for him, but another one he liked very much.
And Julia, yes, Julia, you're really amazing. This guy is really. If something doesn't work, I will call you the next day because you make everything resilient and flexible. And I asked him to put this picture on. And why? We saw it so often already, this picture, and nobody paid attention. Well, I think everybody paid attention. What is this picture? And it is the bridge. It's the connection. It's the connection that I felt in this room. Because we talk about diversity, and we are here in a room full of diversity. We talked during the dinners and the lunches in different languages, in Arab, in French, in German, in Dutch. Well, Danish. There's a lot of languages around. It's all diversity. Arabic, Italian, Spanish, Chinese. You're right. And Japanese. I forget that's how it shows already how difficult it is to pinpoint diversity in even in our own, let's say, languages. And I'm really impressed, and I'm very thankful, Monica, that you made sure that I was here, and you are not here. And I feel sorry because I wanted to meet you again, but I'm very happy to be here because I learned as a breeder a lot about the diversity in tomato, brassica, and snap beans. And I'm, as an organic breeder myself, I use that diversity, of course, from GMX and from other implementations, if possible, because they bring us so much that we lack of. And I'm so glad to hear that we still find that diversity. And you have shown that with all your brightness and your techniques. Thank you very much for that, because it was really, really astonishing to see all, well, I told at home that I love graphics. And these 2 days, I've never seen so many graphics in my life. So I had the best days. No, but to be honest, that is the diversification and the interaction in that intercropping system, because we have to change our whole growing system. We talk about breeding and we talk about implementation of diversification, but how can we do that even if we stay in monocultures? That will be not the future. The future will be intercropping systems to have much more sustainable cropping systems. And at Vitalis at this moment, we are very proud to work together with the Wageningen University on strip cropping with diverse crops in 1.5 meter strips. And in 2 years, we learned that interaction, that plant interaction and that biodiversity in the field, learned is that diseases didn't spread that fast in the field. Aphids and thrips were taken by an instant in a few days because of the biodiversity principles. And I was amazed also there how much influence diversification, let's say, in a field does to our growing system. And I was also very impressed by that. So, but what do we learn there? And that's what I also heard here is root microbiome, shoot microbiome. And what does it do? And what I heard here is that we know already some of it, but there's still so much to learn. What do these microbiomes and the interaction of microbiome, what does that mean and what does that mean for the plant? Because I'm sure that not all plants need that full resistance gene to the specific viruses. No, we need a kind of intermediate resistance or an intermediate level of growing if the plant is strong enough and is helped by his neighbors to grow under very diverse systems. And that's exactly what I think is this picture. It's the bridge of the knowledge that's built up already here and to the organic farmer, because that's what I miss here. Can all the organic farmers stand up in this room? Thank you. There's one organic farmer. That's what I miss. I miss the link with the organic farming in this room, and there's another one. Well, but he's well, I'm not going into detail, but it's interesting to see that we don't miss that link because you made, as researchers, you made the link with the farmer. But that is really needed also. We need the farmer here to discuss with us in this room. What does he need? And what does he think is we as breeders need to do? Very important, we should interact also there and make that interaction bigger, diverse more. And what I learned also is that by breeding under certain conditions, conventional conditions, we lose traits. We have lost traits. Jim has shown us. And Crayola showed us how we can implement the diversity again back into our varieties. Or we can look for it. Or we can look for it.
Okay.
I'm a little bit shaky, so I put it on the table, but
Not here.
okay, sorry. Then it's a bit shaky, but okay. And so they learned us that we have to use that diversity again back in our breeding material. And Dr. Dane, yeah, she also brought so many new interesting things. You can see I put some crosses here because I really would like those presentations. I cannot keep it all in mind. So what I wanted to say, thank you again for this. And at the end of the story, I said about diversity, but there's only one word that was not used in these 2 days, and it is the holistic view. And what does that mean, a holistic view or a holistic approach of work that we do? It means the overview and maybe the drone view, to use the drone, to use the drone and look over our fields and detect the strong plants, detect the diversity, but also in our thinking. Well, that's what was, let's say, the news that came to me with these 2 days and with this picture. Nice picture. Thank you, Julie, again.
Thank you very much, Marcel, also for giving us this holistic overview on the breeder's perspective, and for highlighting these aspects of diversity. So I think diversity is at the heart of every breeder's daily work, but also highlighting this diversity between crops. So, for example, these intercropping systems, and one last time to
Voglio vedere questa cosa, che carino.
And
Questo è
with
bello.
that, I would like to
Esatto.
transition
No,
to
quello là era
Thor,
bello.
because he
Questo,
may,
infatti,
as a
volevo
farmer,
vedere questo.
have
Cioè, tutti questi
a
collegati.
little bit different view or different aspects regarding this. So,
Questo non è
Thor
male,
Kofod is
perché
Vice
molto
Chairman at
successo
the
nella
Danish
vita.
Agriculture and Food
Che
Council
è sbagliato
and
questo.
chair of the Seed Working Group at
Sì, sì o no?
Jacob.
Sì.
And yes, Thor, perhaps you could give
Che
us
c'è di tu? Ma
the
che è
farmer's
affascinante che
perspective
dice tu?
and also elaborate a little bit on the bottlenecks
Sì, vabbè, sì.
for
Sì, sì.
organic vegetable
Mi rendo
production.
conto, sì.
Thank you.
Per lui.
And thank you for inviting me here as a farmer. And actually, I'm also an organic farmer. I both a conventional and organic farmer. So I have a leg in both sides. And I don't say that one thing is better than the other thing. We need both, especially if we look at in the future. And what the most important thing for the organic farmers is to find a new way. And for example, today we have heard a lot of things of scientific work, and what we have heard today is actually what we need when we don't have any kind of pesticides in our life. So it is the work we have to go on with, and we need to make that bridge, as you actually talked about, and learn from each other. And of course, all the technology we are using in the conventional robots and the drones and all these things, we need to use that in organic as well, and we do that at home. And these things you talked about, that we make strip production of different crops, we actually do it in organic farming, in organic vegetable farmers in Denmark today, because it's the only way we can control diseases and control pests and these things. And we can do it, but have a long distance between, and there's several other crops in the rows between, that we keep the aphids or other diseases away in the crop. And it is organic. And actually, when we saw these very good results of organic vegetable production in Denmark, we produce more, but it is a market. We sell all the organic we can sell, that the market can take. And it's not only in Denmark, it is also export for even Italy. We are exporting salad and cabbage and so on to Italy, and other vegetables, but to all over Europe. But the market is not following. And especially the last year, the market has decreased a little bit. And then we have discussed how to do it, because and the easiest way is to sell it as conventional, because then we get some price, because to lower the price for organic, the farmers can't survive. We need to keep the price high for good quality, because if we begin to follow the industry or the supermarket, that we begin to decrease the price for organic, we will the farmers will die. And I find that as not as a farmer as a problem, but as a really big problem if the farmers will die out, because then we will really lose the diversity. Because the diversity of farmers, that we have this a lot of different product in the market, and I don't talk about supermarket. I really talk about in the market, where also the local market. If we don't have that, we will have a very monoculture supermarkets, where we can only get the same taste and the same sometimes low quality in the product in the market, and it is not what we want. Some want it, they only look at the price, but I think it is very important that especially the organic sector keep the quality, keep the taste, and keep the very good quality of the product, especially in the vegetable sector, because it is needed. If we then look at the legislation we are looking into, we're having a new seed law. We will also discuss about breeding techniques. We will discuss about IP rights in varieties. And I think there are some very heavy issues here, because if we look at the seed law, it's very important that we test the seed, but at the same time that it is possible for especially organic farmers to see which kind of breeding techniques they have used, and what is the quality of the seed we are using, because as organic farmers, very, very important that the seed we are using, is it healthy? Is it providing what we want when we put it in the ground? And these things must also follow in the new seed law, that we actually test the seed for organic purposes. And then of course, it must be a safeguard that if organic farmer doesn't want to have the new breeding techniques, then they can choose another variety. They don't need to have it. They can very strictly see which breeding techniques they have used. And the last things, it is patents. I know that everybody say we need patents. No, not at all. We have an IP legislation in Europe, and we have had it for now more than 30 years. There's a reason to that we have so many breeders in Europe, and only a few in the rest of the world. It's because we have a very good IP system. It means if you make a good variety, I can take your best variety and make it even better without asking you, without paying you. And that is the most important thing of innovation, that there's nobody who can block the innovation. And if you look at mutation breeding, it is all the DNA, all the genes belong to the nature. So we must not go into that failure that we accept any kind of patterns in of the nature. If we do that, small breeders will have no chance to be part of it in the future. And it is really a problem, because they don't have I think they just need a new battery. The small breeders will have difficulties to be part of it, because they can't afford to have the lawyers to find a way to work on with the patents. And if you look at the patent applications in Europe now, there are so many patents, especially in vegetables and other crops, that there will be at least or more than one patent in every variety in the future if we follow that. And so it will be very difficult and very expensive to work on in the breeding programs. And as a farmer, I don't want my field to be a battlefield for lawyers. We need to have seeds free for the farmers, and we don't need to fear that somebody else is coming and taking part of or decide what we can use or decide of what we have to use. That's why it is some of the new legislation. These things we need to be very much aware of in the new legislations. And I could go on for hours, but I think it will be the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for your farmer's perspective, also on this most recent political agenda, so which is really a hot discussion ongoing at the moment. And also for raising the point so that the market of organic is decreasing in Denmark at least, and so that that it's really important to meet the expectations of the consumers. I think that's really key in organic. And so I had the feeling in the last days in Italy, so that the Italians value very much their food, and I'm very happy to welcome Silvia Piconcelli. She's representative of the Organic Sector Forestation and Territory Sector at Confagricoltura, and I would like to give the floor to you for showing a little bit the Italian situation and your experiences.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone. I would like to continue my speech in Italian. Sorry for this, but we have the translation. Maybe. Just a moment.
A microphone.
Che succede?
Okay.
Si sono adattati. Benissimo.
Allora, buonasera a tutti e grazie ancora di aver invitato Confagricoltura a questa convention. Io ho seguito i lavori da questa mattina e li ho trovati i risultati del progetto molto interessanti.
Thank you very much for coming here to take part to this project. She has taken part to this project since this morning, and the results are have been very satisfying.
Come Confagricoltura siamo un'organizzazione di rappresentanza agricola, rappresentiamo circa 300.000 aziende su tutto il territorio nazionale.
As Confagricoltura, they are a very efficient association, and they represent about 3,000 members. 300,000
in tutto il territorio nazionale.
In all the national territory.
E rappresentiamo anche, appunto, qui abbiamo un nostro associato che è le Terre del Barone, che visiterete domani, che appunto è un associato di Confagricoltura.
Here we have one of the representative of Confagricoltura that belongs to the land of the barons, the Terre del Barone. Okay.
E rappresentiamo chiaramente le diverse aziende agricole in tutti i settori produttivi, sia nel comparto convenzionale che in quello biologico.
They represent all the association as for both the conventional and the organic association sectors. Sorry.
Io credo che, visti gli obiettivi del Green Deal e della strategia per la biodiversità al 2030, e quindi il target fissato dall'Unione Europea del 25%,
I think that the objective fixed by the Agenda 2023
al 25% per il
at
biologico.
25% for organic.
È assolutamente necessario aumentare la disponibilità di sementi biologiche.
It is absolutely needed to grow or to increase the availability of organic seeds.
E anche del materiale di riproduzione vegetale.
And also the material to reproduce of vegetables reproduction.
E considerate altresì che l'Italia ha recepito questo 25% con una scadenza al 2027 nel piano strategico nazionale, quindi i tempi sono ancora più brevi. Noi ne abbiamo bisogno subito.
And we have to consider that Italy has received this kind, accepted this politics within 2025 and 27. So we need the time is really reduced, so we need to be fast.
Yes.
Okay.
E considerate che invece ad oggi solo il 5% di tutte le superfici destinate alla riproduzione delle sementi, che sono pari a 203.000 ettari, vengono utilizzate solo il 5% per il biologico, quindi siamo ancora molto lontani da raggiungere il traguardo desiderato e soprattutto
we must consider that what we foresee is the 25%. All the 5% we have reached nowadays, 25%.
No. Il 5% delle superfici coltivate per riprodurre semi che sono destinate.
So only the 5% of the area designated to the organic cultivation is designated to organic seeds.
E questo chiaramente è un problema per i produttori agricoli, perché non trovano le varietà di cui hanno bisogno, oppure se le trovano a prezzi molto alti.
And this is a problem for the agriculture to find the seeds, because if they find them, they have to pay a very expensive price.
E per questo in Italia c'è ancora un ricorso alla richiesta delle deroghe, quindi l'utilizzo di semi inconvenzionale molto molto alto.
And for this reason, in Italy, there is many people ask for the use of conventional seeds
Mhm. With derogation.
with derogation.
Quindi che cosa, secondo Confagricoltura, quale può essere la soluzione a tutto questo, almeno una delle soluzioni?
What can be one of the resolution for this problem according to the Confagricoltura?
Sicuramente accompagnare gli imprenditori agricoli in processi innovativi di ricerca e di innovazione, come ad esempio può essere BREZOV.
For sure, to accompany the agriculture, the farmer, sorry,
nei processi di innovazione.
in this process of innovation, with
come
like this project, BRESOV project.
E come si diceva prima, per mettere a rete una serie di idee, di pratiche.
Just to put on the net a series of practice to be adopted.
Nelle aziende agricole come aziende pilota.
In the farms, like the aziende, the pilot farm.
E poi provvedere a dei percorsi mirati di formazione tecnica anche in campo, quindi, e poi di disseminazione verso le altre aziende agricole.
And so to foresee a kind of formation of the farm and the dissemination of this kind of practices.
Poi volevo anche aggiungere, come avete visto prima, l'Italia è il primo paese per superficie biologico a livello europeo.
Italy is the first country as for this kind of production, cultivation, organic cultivation. And in the European field, Italy is the first country.
Ma come diceva il collega danese, anche noi iniziamo a subire dei problemi sul versante dei consumi.
And as our colleague, Danish colleague said, we have some problems for the consumer.
E quindi questo è il momento di agire e di avere delle soluzioni, diciamo, innovative, sia in ambito genetico piuttosto che in ambito di innovazione di processo e di prodotto.
So we need some innovation in any field, both as for the innovation of a process and of the product.
In modo da non far perdere la competitività ai produttori agricoli.
So that we can't lose the competitiveness.
Okay. In tutto questo volevo anche sottolineare che l'Italia come paese si è dotata di una legge nazionale da poco che ha messo a sistema tutto il settore.
So in Italy is already organized as for the legislation of a law that foresees that organizes all the normative of the sector.
E al suo interno prevede un piano specifico nazionale per le sementi biologiche.
It contains specific plans as for the organic seeds,
dove si parla specificatamente di processi genetici partecipativi, quindi
where it is said about specific process, genetic processes
partecipativi
in
partnership, tipo appunto BREZOV, in cui si darà supporto a questo tipo di progetto, perché indubbiamente questa è la strada da percorrere, quindi un momento di condivisione tra tecnici, referenti del mondo scientifico e produttori.
The BRESOV aims are that one of sharing such kind of practice and organization of the
the sector.
of the sector.
Quindi sostanzialmente per noi partecipare a dei consessi del genere è molto importante perché abbiamo bisogno di essere sostenuti da una parte dalla ricerca, dall'altra parte dalle istituzioni.
So we really need to be supported, sustained by the knowledge in both field. Oh, okay, in both field, the researcher and the institution.
E per mantenere la remunerazione aziendale e la competitività di cui abbiamo bisogno sui mercati nazionali ed esteri.
Just to maintain the competitiveness of the national and the international markets.
E quindi, diciamo, come produttori agricoli saremo sempre disponibili ad essere dei centri di eccellenza di ricerca in campo.
As organic producer, we will be always centers of excellence and
Di ricerca in campo.
of research in the field.
Perché noi di Confagricoltura diciamo spesso che gli agricoltori sono innovatori per tradizione.
We always say that the agriculture, the producer are great innovator
For tradition.
for tradition.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you very much for giving us this overview on the Italian situation on organic farming. So I think it's really interesting also that you see this problem of limited seed availability for organics and also limited land that is there for organic production. So we had also this in some discussions before, and it's like we would have been talking to each other before, because highlighting the need for research gives me a really nice transition to Joelle. She is, you have seen her the last 2 days. She is a researcher, senior researcher at the Department of Crop Sciences in Five, Switzerland, and was also very actively involved in the BREZOV project, and she will now explain a little bit the practical research and how this can contribute.
Thank you very much, Amelie. So, yeah, what we did in this project was to try the practical side of research. Ideally, in research, you have the control when you're doing like the experiment in the lab. You have the control over the traits, over the measurements that you do, and just to read quickly the question. So we've tried in this project varieties under very different business as usual production techniques. And very different regional differences, and we've tested many varieties. So if you remember the talks we had yesterday, that was linked to the certain traits that were very important for Liverpool, like the waterlogging resistance, but then you had in Italy very different needs, like the resistance to drought. The management techniques are very different from one country to the other, as well as the pests, the diseases, but there are also very big differences, cultural differences between the country, different expectations. In Italy, it states a taste in a northern country, maybe it's more efficacy and robustness. We've realized that between, or you all know that between the different organic farms, there's a huge diversity from the different level. If you compare on the scale of Stefano on agroecology, you have organic farming that just works on the substitution of inputs that are not allowed in organic, whereas you have others that really follow a very holistic approach with all the different things like diversity, like also fairness and social. And if you are testing, making an experiment between those two very different environments, it's extremely difficult, and it's I don't know. It's very difficult to extract the main. I don't know. I'm going into many directions, but it's very difficult to extract the effect or to know what is responsible from this response on the field. You have also different different circuits in the different farms. We have also seen different kinds of farms with microfirm where you have high diversity, like what my colleague just said before, with those that cultivate a lot of vegetables and look for diversity. And you have those that rely on very high technological farming and decision support systems and automatization. So I have the feeling I'm getting far from the question, but the organic production has to take into consideration all these very big differences in all diversity, all of the range of organic farming. And you have to have varieties of material that are suitable for every single kind of production. What we can learn in this multi-location on-farm production trial is that we have to accept that it's not the same rigorousness than the one you have in an experiment on station. You have to find ways to homogenize as much as possible the kind of data that you obtain from the different farm. Maybe in the future we could use something like a virtual research environment where you can control more the kind of data that are inputted and have like a blockchain technology or something to really follow up the different step in the data acquisition, and maybe make sure that what you analyze at the end is really rigorous, or that you understand correctly the different inputs, because the different farmers, different locations, they will feel very differently the measurement of the same table, just because the priority in terms of trait is very different for an Italian that will just give a much precise information about traits that are interesting for them, and maybe less precision on what is irrelevant for the market. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, I think this complexity in the system, I think that's really something important to mention, and that's not easy to assess on different layers in organic production. And I think that's also then not so easy for Martin Koller. So he's an advisor at InnoPlatform Bio. And I think as an advisor for farmers in organics, that's then also adding a special, how to say, hurdle. Martin, are you there? Are you joining us?
Yes. Hello, Amalie. Thanks a lot for the introduction. So I'm sorry I catch a cold, so I hope my voice will be okay and I have not too much to cough. But I'm quite sure that it's not that kind of virus that will transmit with the internet. So you will be quite sure in Sicily or on the other parts that listening to. So I'm happy to join this part of the final conference of BREZOV. I was lucky to join the kickoff conference in Catania, so it gives so a kind of bracket to all. As is stated, or as the question that is the organic production is knowledge intensive. So, and we see both. We see also new challenges in both biotic and abiotic stresses. For example, in tomatoes, the one grower is this grower on the picture you see quoted to me that he had never have this high radiation last year as he's ever seen before, and he grows tomatoes, organic tomatoes, for 20 years. So that's one of these abiotic stress or abiotic influence. He had to cope much more, and he had to start to shade the greenhouses for tomatoes, which he never had to do for decades. And on the other hand, this higher temperature also leads to more, we believe it is related to the higher temperature, to more problems with nematodes or other problems. So this the biotic stress as well. Or for broccoli, as another example, there is the heat stress we know about the flowering, enhanced flowering. But in other years, we have waterlogging, and I was very happy to see in other BREZOV conference that Peter, for example, is working, and that problem that could probably lead to a more resilient plants, resilient brassicas facing with waterlogging problems. So we have both extremes in 2 years. So that's the thing we see, or what we see often. And yes, also for broccoli, we see on the other hand higher pathogenicity of diseases we already know, like Campanaria or downy mildew, but we have much severe problems with these diseases now than we had some years before. So, and all these changes are faster all the time. So as in previous year, but probably it's just because I'm older and I can't getting up as fast with the changes as I could when I was younger. But that's the thing I see. Or probably another example as a non-BREZOV crops, the carrots. I learned only this year from the stored carrots 2 new diseases which I never know before or never saw before. So yeah, also a much higher diversity in diseases and pests that tackles us. As an advisor, we have the challenge to extract all the relevant information from, let's say, from the big heap of results that are available. There is a lot of research going on, also in this project. I'm happy to see that. But we have to extract and transmit this to the growers so that they can use it. And often we see that this kind of research probably is not ready to use. We need probably more implementing more research for this transition.
Martin, we can't hear you very well. So I think there's a problem with your connection.
There are more chances that it's a problem of this connection.
Or ours, yes. Martin, are you still there? No. Okay, maybe we will reconnect. Krista, can you still hear us?
To say it was easier to grow 20 years before?
I could
we face also higher market.
So it seems that we are disconnected.
That the main tool to do this, to work better, is varieties, are good varieties, and so I'm happy to hear seeds as well. So healthy seeds, that's things I heard before, and the varieties breeding process where BREZOV is one point that working on this key issue, and I think that's one of the major driver that will bring us forward to this goal of this 25% organic share. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Martin. So unfortunately, we shortly lost you. It seems that the virus transmitted nevertheless.
Hello, Catania.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you, but you can't hear us, as it seems.
Agrigento, can you hear us?
Yes. Giulio, sorry. We can hear you.
Yeah, I fear my speech was too boring, so
No.
Can you hear us again?
It was enough.
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah, you were gone.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Martin. From what you said, I see that there's also the need to communicate a lot more between research projects and you as advisory services. And also that, so what you said at the beginning, that not only the plants need to adapt very fast, but also that the farmers need to adapt very fast in these conditions. And now I would like to hand over to Carlo Mura, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility at Natura C, to close the cycle and also to receive a little bit of information of the retailers' side.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Carlo Mura, and I'm the responsible for the procurement of raw materials in Natura C, and I'm also working for corporate social responsibility. I'm also a small-scale organic farmer in the mountains of Italy, so I know basically all the part from production to distribution. I've been told not to speak for more than 1 hour and a half, so I will try to limit myself. So Natura C is a retailer. Basically, we are best known in Italy for our more or less 500 shops all over the country, but there is much more. We have more than 300 farms that provide their raw materials, their products to us. We take care of warehousing them or processing them and then placing them in the market. I think it's important to make a very short overview of data about the organic market in Europe. Analysis showed us that over the past 10 years, the sales of organic products, Italian organic products, increased by 132% in the national market, whilst Italian production distributed in foreign markets, export basically increased by 181%. So a very interesting number. Actually, in the past year, we saw that the trend changed a little bit. So if we analyze the sales of organic food on the total food and beverage sold in Italy, we see that we reached a peak of 3.6% in 2019, while the sales decreased a little bit to 3.2% in 2022. So considering the total volume of sales, organic is a little bit decreasing now. of course, we know the crisis, all the problems that we've been facing. This negative trend was particularly true for the organic sector. We, Natura C, is an organic distributor specialized in organic food. We sell 100% organic products. And the organic specialized sector saw a decrease of -8% in the total volume of sales. So it's not an easy period. We have to say that in the past months, finally, we saw that the trend is changing a little bit again, and we see that consumers are taking again a bit of trust, let's say, and for the future, and they are starting to buy again, looking for quality offered by the organic shops. Natura C, being a distributor, is in between farmers and consumers. What is normally considered as the two extremes of producers on one side and consumers on the other side. Our mission is to try to bring them together and have them speaking and exchanging experience, exchanging needs, because that's the only way we can have consumers that care about what they are buying, that there's a bit of noise, that are anxious and curious about what they are actually choosing in the shops. So that's extremely important for us. In fact, there are recent studies that are showing how the lack of knowledge, the lack of awareness, and the difficulty for consumers to understand the difference between organic products and conventional products is actually the main cause for decrease in interest for organic products. When you don't know what is behind the product, the final product you're buying in the shop, also justifying a higher price for the product that you are buying becomes difficult. When, for that, I said, no, Natura C, the objective is to bring together farmers and consumers, to have consumers understanding the problems of the farmer, the reason why we farm organically. So put this in the frame of the organic breeding. Natura C working on organic breeding for cereals for years. We registered a non-profit foundation, the Fondazione Seminario del Futuro, which works on the identification of the creation of modern varieties intended for organic agriculture. Good. So the key aspect is to be able to communicate the work we are doing on organic breeding, on organic agriculture, but particularly on organic breeding, to the consumers, explaining why there is the need for a farmer to have a tool that works well when grown organically. The reason why we need to have varieties that are intended for performing well in organic farming and being healthy for human body, and not just being good for the technical processes of transformation. So that's extremely important. So one aspect identified as a problem for the trend of sales of organic products is raising awareness, explaining to consumers what is the difference between conventional and organic products. Yeah, if you can just mute the microphone, you need, Tanya, because there is a lot of background noise. Thank you. The second aspect is the price of organic food. This is a study that was conducted, and these are the results of the study. The price. In Israel as well, organic breeding can help us. When an organic farmer, could you mute your microphone?
Could Catania mute the microphone or the computer mic, because we have an echo in the online session.
Thank you so much. Sorry. When we speak about price, when we speak about the ability of organic agriculture to compete with conventional agriculture, there again, we need varieties. We need proper tools in order to produce in a competitive way with conventional farmers. So that's where we have been working. We have been investing, I said, on cereals, developing varieties of cereals that can perform well in Italy, in our environment, grown organically or biodynamically. But we've been working also on vegetables, going to, let's say, preserve and promote the use of old varieties that were showing to be adapted to the current environment, the current growing conditions. So these are aspects where we have been working a lot. The third, although not related to organic breeding, third aspect that was identified as one of the problems that the organic sector is living now was the fact related to packaging, where packaging was accused to be not in line with the philosophy of growing organically, And for that, we have been working a lot in promoting packages, sustainable packages made of paper, made of one single material that can be recycled. So the second aspect I said was that of the price. I think organic breeding representing a good tool for organic farmers can help us in also reducing the prices when the performance of farming in terms of yield can increase. The price we discovered on our own experience, that is a driving factor, a very powerful driving factor. In fact, we launched recently a campaign, a new set of product, a new range of product called C Essenziali, essential basically, where we tried to squeeze as much as possible the margins and the price, obviously not reducing the quality of the product. And we saw that whenever there is a cheaper product in our shops, people prefer to buy them. It seems to be normal, a silly consideration, but it's actually very important, particularly in this historical moment, to consider that the prices are a serious limiting factor. And we are always in between what is the desire to add as much attributes as possible to the products in terms of sustainability, in terms of products coming from organic breeding, therefore coming from varieties that have been thought for organic agriculture, but also for being good to human body, and proposing sustainable packaging. On the other side, offering a product that can actually be cheaper and compete with I would say, with the large-scale distribution. So that's a bit the process and the work that we have been doing, trying to mediate all the different forces in the market. I'm here if you have other questions.
Thank you very much, Carlo. It was really interesting.
You have to unmute yourself, Amelie.
You can also unshare. Okay, hope you can hear us again.
Okay, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much for showing us the retailer situation and also how you deal with slowing market growth and how you try to close the communication gap between producers and consumers. I think that's really important. And before we now open the floor for questions, I would like to ask Ferdinando. Where is he? Not here. Okay. Then I will introduce Annalisa Tardino. Thank you very much for coming here from Brussels, I think, the whole way to the floor. She's member of European Parliament and was, I think, born in Sicily.
Yes,
so,
yes, I am Sicilian.
Yeah, so you're the connection between the Brussels bubble and Sicily. And I would like to give the floor to you for short intervention. Thank you very much for being.
Thank you very much. I am a member of the European Parliament, but I am a Sicilian, so and from Agrigento. So I'm here in my official vest. Yes. I'm very happy to be here for this meeting. I also said that I prefer to speak in Italian for my for my relation. I will. Yes. Okay. Ok, ok, thank you very much. Bene, come dicevo prima, sono membro del Parlamento europeo nella veste insomma, di europarlamentare per il collegio Sicilia-Sardegna e faccio parte della Commissione ENVI. Mi hanno annunciato, quindi insomma...
I introduce you the Europarlamentaire Onorevole Annalisa Dardini, our Consigliere for Agriculture and Forest of Sicilian Region, Onorevole Luca San Martino. It's nice to have them with us because we have to speak also with politicians because they decide also our perspective in the future for organic farming, breeding, but all this nice work for support our traditional resilient crop. So Onorevole Tardino is in the Committee of Environment, Public Health and Food Safety of EU Parliament. Please.
Yes, thank you very much, as I said. Ok, thank you. Come dicevo prima, e come da presentazione, sono membro della Commissione ENVI che si occupa di sicurezza alimentare, salute e ambiente.
The teacher Blanca said, she is part of the committee that regards health, environment and safety. Okay.
La rappresentazione di questa commissione dimostra chiaramente come c'è una stretta connessione, una strettissima connessione, diciamo, tra l'ambiente e la sicurezza alimentare e quindi che passa dai nostri prodotti.
Okay, there is a strict connection between the safety, the alimentary safety and environment, and these pass through our products.
Per questo oggi ritengo che sia importantissimo il lavoro che parte dalle università e dalla ricerca che voi state contribuendo a fare.
For this, I'm really convinced that the main work started from the cooperation between the university and the associations and the works like you are doing, like the project BREZOV.
E che arriva poi attraverso i vari livelli istituzionali, partendo da quelli regionali, e qui ringrazio l'assessore Luca San Martino che ci ha dato questa possibilità di rappresentare le linee programmatiche regionali, a livello nazionale, per poi finire in quella che è la prospettiva di cui io vi voglio brevemente accennare, che è quella europea.
And so from the region, he starts from the region just to pass it to a national intervention, and then to pass through the European intervention that she represents.
In Europa fondamentalmente diciamo, uno degli argomenti principali è appunto quello del Green Deal, quindi legato alla tutela dell'ambiente, alla tutela del verde.
Important element is that one of the Green Deal that regards
che riguarda la tutela diciamo, verde dell'ambiente in generale, che muove oggi quasi tutte le battaglie ed è il mainstream diciamo, della politica europea.
The Green Deal concerns the safety of the environment and all what regards the safetyness of our environment.
In questo contesto chiaramente si inserisce la tutela diciamo, dei prodotti alimentari e lo sviluppo, diciamo, del biologico, che è ciò per cui oggi, diciamo, siamo chiamati qui ad intervenire.
In this context, it is relevant the importance that we must give to the organic production and
del biologico, diciamo,
dell'organic
production. Noi stiamo lavorando a 360 gradi per fare in modo che la tutela dei prodotti alimentari, che passano chiaramente, diciamo, da un controllo e dallo sviluppo del biologico.
No, si sta bagnando.
We are working, totally working, just to develop this kind of organic production, just to improve our territory. Okay. Improve our territory.
E su questo stiamo lavorando ad oggi, su dei provvedimenti molto importanti che riguardano per esempio il regolamento sui fitofarmaci e il regolamento sulle nuove tecnologie, che immagino, insomma, come gli esperti possono dire meglio di me, qualcosa di diverso rispetto, diciamo, ai prodotti geneticamente modificati.
So for this, they are hardly working as for the regulation of the procedure of the breeding of organic new breeding techniques. Okay, new breeding techniques and the regulation as for the phytopharmacs.
Pesticide. Diciamo, da questo presupposto e quindi, diciamo, dall'impegno dell'Unione Europea su questi fronti parte chiaramente, diciamo, il contributo fondamentale che noi vogliamo dare all'università.
From this starting point, leaves the contribution that we want to give to our universities just to develop this field, okay, and these items. Mm-hmm.
Che passa non solo, diciamo, per la tutela normativa e per l'attribuzione di fondi, ma soprattutto nella concreta possibilità che l'attività che oggi viene fatta a livello di ricerca si possa tramutare in fatti.
And this work that they are doing at the European level starts from not only from the research of funds to give, just to develop and invest in this research, but also in to obtain results and just to have results to be transferred to the society.
Sappiamo, diciamo, che l'obiettivo che l'Europa ha è anzi molto ambizioso rispetto, diciamo, a quelle che sono le nostre possibilità.
The goals that the European acquired is more responsible and more ambitious than the possibility they have.
Sappiamo che oggi sui programmi dell'Unione Europea c'è quello di indirizzare circa il 25% della produzione al biologico.
The main task of the European community is that one to address about the 25% of the organic production.
Il dato nazionale, se non ricordo male, è intorno al 17%.
The national data is about 17%.
E il dato, diciamo, europeo è circa del 9%. Quindi
the European data is about 9%, and we want to reach about the 5%.
Yes. Noi vogliamo, diciamo, arrivare ad un dato che comunque è incoraggiante, diciamo, rispetto alla media europea che è del 9%.
To the European media that is 9%.
E da questo punto di vista, diciamo, il lavoro che noi stiamo svolgendo nel tutelare anche l'agricoltura, diciamo, tradizionale, che deve essere, diciamo, in linea con diciamo, lo sviluppo, diciamo, del biologico, è quello di favorire certamente l'attività di ricerca e di concretizzazione, diciamo, dei prodotti e dei risultati.
So the main aim is that one of to favorite the research, to give a great impulse to the research, and also to the and to make these products become concrete.
Gli input che oggi noi avremo ritengo che siano importanti trasferirli all'interno del Parlamento europeo.
It is important to transfer these inputs inside the European Parliament.
E come rappresentante siciliana,
as a Sicilian representative,
credo che sia, diciamo, di fondamentale importanza, passando, come dicevo prima, dai diversi livelli istituzionali, portare la nostra specifica voce su quelli che sono i nostri prodotti.
And so, as a Sicilian representative, I think that our task is that we want to bring to the European Committee the specificity of our products.
Ed è per questo che oggi vi ringrazio, insomma, di avermi invitato e di aver avuto la possibilità di essere partecipe in questo meeting, insomma, di altissimo livello professionale. Grazie.
I want to thank you to have her here, to have invited her in this very important reach of great interest event or conference.
Thank you very much. Grazie mille. Passo la parola ai colleghi, sono a disposizione per eventuali domande. Grazie.
Okay, many thanks, Honorable Tardino, for your speech, for your support for the future development of organic agriculture. In reality, for the new breeding technique, we have several different opinions, but of course, it's a very important also discussion to develop, because we will reach several level approach of agriculture. Now, I would like to involve to the discussion our Chancellor for Agriculture and Forestry of Sicilian region, Honorable Luca San Martino, is also Vice President of our Sicilian Regional Committee.
Grazie per l'invito, un ringraziamento particolare all'Università di Catania e a voi che in questi 3 giorni vivete la nostra regione con un dibattito scientifico che coinvolge più paesi dell'Eurozona e anche dell'Euro-Mediterraneo. Grazie all'onorevole Tardino per l'intervento che ho ascoltato, nostra europarlamentare siciliana, per l'attenzione che rivolge e continua a rivolgere costantemente alle politiche agricole del nostro paese e della nostra regione.
Okay, thank you for having invited him to this very important conference, and a great thank to the University of Catania to have involved him to this conference, and also many thanks to Honorable Tardino for intervention. Okay.
Sin dal primo giorno dell'insediamento del nuovo governo regionale, le politiche regionali per l'agricoltura, insieme alle associazioni di categoria che vedo qui ben rappresentate, hanno incentrato
Since the first days of the new regional Sicilian Parliament, and thanks to the presence of the categories who here represented, they have interested
l'interesse maggiore sullo sviluppo del Green Deal e sullo sviluppo di tutta quella che è la filiera del biologico della nostra regione. La regione Sicilia ha la più alta percentuale, oltre il 40% degli ettari coltivati in biologico, e si prefissa per le prossime annualità di raggiungere l'obiettivo di un incremento di oltre il 25%.
Okay, the main concern of this new parliament is that one that concerns the Green Deal, that foresees the 40% of the territory just to be cultivated as organic production. 40% inside the Italian percentage. Okay?
14%.
Focalizzando l'attività del governo con la PAC 23-27, stanziando oltre 500 milioni di euro dedicati al biologico, che sono a disposizione degli agricoltori e delle filiere siciliane per riconvertire e per migliorare con la comunità scientifica le varietà culturali attraverso la biodiversità che è al centro del nuovo programma della Comunità Europea.
No, però così.
Okay, no.
No.
Yes. You want to
the regional administration has already in the last years has provided more than 500 million of euro to reconvert and to develop the organic farming.
E credo che progetti come BREZOV, progetti portati avanti dalla Commissione Europea, dai nostri europarlamentari a fianco delle comunità scientifiche,
I think that the committee carried out from the European parliamentary together with
possono aiutare concretamente l'azione del governo regionale per migliorare la biodiversità nelle nostre misure e nelle nostre culture.
It can help the regional government just to improve our research and our task as for the implementation of organic farm.
Concentrando nella varietà e nelle biodiversità che gli studi scientifici ci consegnano la maggiore redditività del prodotto della nostra terra.
In this case, we can exploit all this diversity to increase the value of our produce and to implement the income of all the organic food chain.
Per puntare a una maggiore redditività delle imprese siciliane, delle imprese agricole siciliane, ma soprattutto per migliorare la competitività nella straordinaria varietà delle biodiversità che nella nostra regione abbiamo.
Just to aim to the better competitiveness and to improve the income of this kind of organic production.
Quindi grazie alla comunità scientifica per il lavoro che consegnerà alla fine di questi giorni e grazie soprattutto per l'impegno di tutti voi che arricchirete anche l'azione che il governo della regione potrà mettere in campo a fianco della filiera produttiva siciliana.
So thanks to the scientific community and thanks for your report to this kind of research that can help the region, the committee in the regional committee, just to carry out their task to improve and give good results.
Many thanks. And I would like also to introduce Dr. Marquez is the local representative of Confagricoltura. Now, in different scale, we have the European scale by Confagricoltura, the national scale by National Agricoltura, and the local regional representative of Confagricoltura. Please, just some of you have
ci ritroviamo. Buonasera, vi ritrovo quasi tutti sorridenti, quindi vuol dire che la permanenza ad Agrigento è di vostro gradimento.
smiling, and so it means that you enjoyed your stay here in Agrigento.
Io ho l'ingrato compito di parlare, credo per ultimo, forse era meglio che parlava l'assessore per ultimo, del mezzo del cammino di nostra vita. E per noi di Confagricoltura motivo di orgoglio avere degli associati che fanno, credono nell'agricoltura biologica.
Confagricoltura, it's a pride to have some association that focus their work on Sicilian agriculture.
Grazie a questo progetto BREZOV c'è una comunità scientifica che sta attenzionando il nostro meraviglioso territorio.
A scientific community is taking care about this wonderful territory that is Sicily.
In un momento in cui, ahimè, le cronache giornalistiche parlano di cibo sintetico o di altro.
The social media speak about synthetic food or something else, or not speaking. So,
Voi provate a immaginare se mi dovrei saziare di cavallette o di insetti vari.
He could be compelled to eat insects.
E invece ci sono imprenditori che coltivano la nostra terra, presidiano il territorio, evitano il dissesto idrogeologico e coltivano cibi salutari alla nostra salute.
I think in all the Italian territory there are some enterprises that cultivate pure food, simple food, and organic food.
Da piccolo imprenditore che sono, mi sento di ringraziare con tutto il cuore chi fa questo tipo di agricoltura, chi crede in questa agricoltura e l'assessore all'agricoltura che prende posizione su quello che oggi mediaticamente sta succedendo.
As a little editor in the present, I want just to thank those ones like me go on and carry out such a kind of breeding, organic breeding.
Oggi la Sicilia è l'unica regione d'Italia che ha preso ufficialmente posizione al non farine di insetti.
So, nowadays, Sicily is, I think, the only region that has taken a position against the breeding of insect floor.
Non potrò mai dimenticare quel 28 dicembre del 2022, quando l'assessore, appena insediato da non più di credo 20 giorni, tra i primi bandi che ha pubblicato e ci ha chiamato a raccolta quando altri erano ancora attorno a un panettone, fu proprio quello dell'agricoltura biologica. Quindi l'interesse che questa nostra regione, questo nostro governo ha verso l'agricoltura biologica.
So I can never forget the 28th of December when the new representative, political representative in Sicily, has a project concerning the organic breeding.
Non posso non dimenticare, ma è in ultimo non per ordine di importanza, l'impegno che l'onorevole Tardino, l'onorevole Tardino sta approfondendo per l'agricoltura siciliana tutta.
I never forget the task and the duty that my Tardino has taken to carry out this kind of this kind of issue. That is the organic breeding.
Ci legano interessi comuni
Carried by common interest
per lo sviluppo della nostra terra.
for the development of our land, our ground.
Io chiudo qua, non voglio allungarmi. Un augurio di rivedervi. Viva Agrigento, capitale della cultura, incrociamo le dita. Viva Agrigento, capitale dell'agricoltura biologica. Grazie.
So, yeah, thank you very much for your considerations and for explaining your views. I think it's really interesting what you said also that results of the research projects need to be transferred to society. So that's a key element, and that is something we were also really working hard on in the BREZOV project to create impact with the project results at the end. And I know,
I translate.
yeah.
Thanks for your. Grazie della vostra. Siamo contenti di avere degli interlocutori per il futuro. Speriamo che anche i nostri risultati abbiano impatto e affetto sulla società, sull'economia e sulla nostra agricoltura. Anche linkandoci un po' con tutte le altre realtà che sono in Europa.
Thank you, Ferdinando. I know that we are already in the sort of conclusive session, but I would like to open the floor for questions to our panelists still. So, if there are any, I hope so.
I know for sure Dr. Ballerulo has something to say. Huh? No? No. My question is, for example, I talk in Italian because it's a question on our representative, but also for Confagricoltura. Stiamo cercando in qualche modo di registrare le nuove varietà nell'ambito del nuovo catalogo per le orchidee. Fino a quando non registreremo in Italia come in ogni parte d'Europa queste varietà in questo catalogo, ci saranno le deroghe per utilizzare varietà che sono coltivate in convenzionale e che quindi molto probabilmente, come anche i nostri studi hanno ricominciato a evidenziare, non sono adatte al cambiamento climatico, non sono sostenibili, non sono resilienti. Io l'altro giorno ero con l'assessore alla giornata dell'acqua a Catania, a Catania, siamo stati un po' sconvolti da quei numeri di quanta acqua ci vuole per produrre un paio di jeans e una t-shirt, in totale 9.000 litri di acqua.
Ferdinando, be so kind and translate for us in English.
No, in reality is very important, and I ask them to help us to register the new cultivar in the new catalog. This is a starting point because till now there are derogations active to grow the conventional seeds in organic farming. So this is, in my point of view, one bottleneck, and we are trying to register the new one. I asked to our representative to speed up this process. Probably also the representative of Confindustria, no? Confagricoltura can say something about that. And I don't know, at the European level, what Tom can say again about.
Thank you, and thank you very much for the presentation of all your presentations. What I want to put on focus it is, as you said from the member of European Parliament, that we have some proposals who's coming up now. It is NDT, and it is new seed law, the PRM, the law for seed and propagating materials. And then we need to have another focus. It is a question about patents in seeds. And these things, I will come one day and visit you in Brussels, and we can discuss it, and I can explain it. But what is very important, especially in the new PRM, the new seed law, it is that we make space, make the seed test, that these kind of quality seed production and food production, as you, for example, make here in Italy, that it's sustained. Because else it will be some basic quality, industrial quality for all the vegetables, for all the food. And I don't think anybody wants that. So what you have here, especially in Italy, it is especially this kind of quality, tasty, good food and good traditions of food. And these we need to make space for in the legislation. It is very important. And I can also explain you when I come and visit you how we can make the seed law to guarantee that. So it is very important that you put a focus on these things. Thank you.
They are trying to, stanno cercando di registrare, però in effetti, but the situation among the countries is different, I suppose, because in Italy with this field rates are more or less stopped. Instead, in some other countries, they are trying to register, and after we can use after they are registered in Dutch, in Netherlands o in Germany. So, e quindi il problema è che gli altri stanno registrando già le varietà e quando registreranno entreranno nel catalogo, noi li potremo acquistare perché sono paesi associati, ma noi non siamo fermi, questo è il punto. What about the differential situation in around Europe and among all countries? So,
There's a lot different. When we talk about the seed law, I think that only a few countries is very much focused on how you can make it for the future, that you guarantee these qualities I talked about. Because I know in Italy you are not using the seed law as you could. If you take the Netherlands, Denmark and Sweden and Germany, not Germany fully, but especially Netherlands, Denmark and Sweden, we use the part of the legislations to test the quality and to guarantee the quality for the farmers. So the farmers can choose the variety he wants on his farm. What I understand, you don't have it in vegetables in Italy, but you could have. And in the new seed law, we actually should make it as a legislation and not as a directive, that all the countries need to do it, because it is guarantee for the consumers and it is a guarantee for the farmers. I think it's a very important thing.
Thank you very much. Do we have another comment on the derogations Ferdinando mentioned, perhaps also from our panelists online?
Would like to say something?
No, in maniera molto sintetica, la situazione generale su vari argomenti e vari fronti tra le normative europee e quelle italiane sono molto diverse.
Among the Italian rule, European rule are very different. So, in fact, as you know, in Czech, in Hungary, and in Dutch, it's very fast the registration. In Italy, the process is very long, and nobody wants to register in Italy.
Ma voglio precisare una cosa, perché è corretto puntare e sviluppare la ricerca legata al biologico, ma noi abbiamo per fortuna una agricoltura tradizionale, ma non consentite di dirlo voi che siete più esperti di me, che sicuramente ha un grado di qualità che è diversa rispetto a quella dei paesi del nord Europa, e lì probabilmente c'è maggiore necessità di lavorare sulla sperimentazione.
Probably we are a lot behind you and the Central Europe country. And the scenario is not so clear because you resisted, but still the quality is in the Mediterranean area, in this area. And thanks to the several brand, we can go outside and provide quality to all the European market and more. So I think also this mechanism has to be balanced among all European countries. Otherwise,
however, we can.
It is actually a very big, very topic for the farmers. What you actually is that you are able to make the from seeds produced in Europe, because it is a way to the seed from have the you are on the same level when you go into. So you need to, and so if, for the Italian.
but because we organize the registration. All can you register? Came in Italy to all.
Is very unstable.
No. So this is another ambiguous but can produce.
It's because you are good to it. And the only thing I wanted is that these they are very good, and you can often, when we go to Italy and we taste these special varieties of vegetables, this taste, this quality, this crisper fruits and all these things, we can't get at other places than in Italy. You have an export market here. It's only if you prove that you have these things, you come into the game, then you can export it. That's what I want. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like just to switch to another topic, and I would like to have the opinion of you as a farmer about the copper, the regulation about the phasing out of copper in the next few years. Would you feel that is a treaty for organic agriculture, or is something that you can cope with?
Copper. Actually, I think it was 25 years ago we lost the copper in my country, and we found other biological ways of doing it without copper. And of course, in the conventional organic farming, we are using medicals, or we are using pesticides. But in organic, we can use other things. And actually, the way we do it, it is the strip farming, where we try to do different crops beside each other in strip lines. It is the way we're doing beside each other in strip lines. It is the way we're doing it because copper, it is very bad for the soil. It is very bad for the soil. Because copper, it is very bad for the soil. If you use copper a lot in the soil, you can't have sheep on the land in many years, maybe 1,000 years after, because they actually die of it. So the copper is not good for the soil. and we need to learn that in organic too. And in Denmark, we have lost the copper, we have lost all these kind of things because they stay in the soil. They will never be brought out to the soil again.
Just a moment, we thanks to Onorevole Tardino and to Onorevole San Martino, and also to Dr. Marquez Aragona. They are flying to several meetings, but they appreciated our approach, our work, and I'm sure there could be one different point for the future work. Amelie?
I just wanted to remind you to put the microphone near to the mouth.
Okay, many thanks again, and
thank you very much.
Che sei? Perché sei? No,
So thank you very much for being here. So with that, I would also like to thank all our panelists of the discussion. So for giving the expert views and also for lively discussion at the end. Thanks to the panelists also staying online and presenting. And with that, I would like to close the roundtable and give, as soon as Ferdinando is again here, the floor to him for his final conclusive session. So thank you very much.
Professional conducting of this in a very professional background. Sorry, I have to say it.
È finito. Giulia, è finito.
Devo parlare dopo? Facciamo altri due testini. Questo è finito. Io sto per fare. Io andando sto per fare. Cioè andiamo, bello pulito, sistemato.
Cercavo da zero blu forse. Nero. Che l'ho messo qua.
Ce ne siamo venduti
vedi
uno.
Che forse è lì,
L'abbiamo venduto su eBay, era nero su eBay, l'hanno acquistato su.
L'avevo visto.
So I don't know if we have some other question from your side, Monica or Dr. Piton, or much more simplifying if there are no much more comment. We analyze a lot of bottleneck during our pathway, but our strength is have individuated several traits, several approach can drive us to complete this mosaic is the organic. Drive us to complete this mosaic is the organic agriculture. Monica?
No, I can hear you. I just want to thank you for the organization of this conference. I think it was really worth to organize it and bring all the experts of the organic vegetable breeders together and to discuss it. And I hope, since you have discussed so many challenges, bottlenecks today, that tomorrow when you go on the excursion, you will find all the solutions that you have. And I'm really regret that I will not be there to see the participatory breeding. And I also just want to make you aware that Italy is also among the first countries that are very positive and already started with the notification of organic heterogeneous material, and also very positive for the temporary derogation from releasing organic varieties. So I hope many of your activities that you produced in BREZOV might also have advantage of this new regulation that makes it easier to bring material to the market so that it gets faster to the farmer.
Many thanks, Monica. Dr. Piton?
Yeah, just to recall, indeed, there is the review ongoing and very important on the result of legislation for the production and marketing of plant reproductive material. And the needs of organic will be indeed addressed with the new proposal from the Commission that is expected very soon. By mid of this year, we will have it. So it's very important to follow up.
Many thanks.
Thank you again for all your work.
Many thanks indeed. And now, I don't know if you want to stay online or not, but there is the conclusive session. And this is a very... So it's not so nice to close one good enterprise. I started with some my good friends like Roberto Papa, Jaime Fons, but suddenly joined Crevla and Fibo. We became friends, very friend with Joel, for example. And with Amélie, also European SIDA Association was one of the first partners joined to BREZOV. Of course, we had some Brexit partner like Peter, but we accept again Europe with us. It's a good resource also for us. And but unfortunately, the Brexit divide a little bit our main approach. But in any case, was a very nice group. I'm proud to have coordinated this group. I spent a lot of time. I have to thanks a lot Julia, helped me a lot in this pathway, but also my collaborators follow me in this enterprise. I hope we will can continue this pathway in the next future. Many thanks again for all. I think that this moment is starting the relaxing time. After 5 days of full intense discussion, we have the beach in front. I think this is a good option for the next hour. Many thanks, and I hope to meet you again soon. Hi, Krista.
Goodbye. Enjoy the evening, everybody, and thanks for joining.
Okay, many thanks, Martin, Andrea,
Ciao.
Dr. Piton, Belfiore, and many thanks again. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
Grafica. Chiudi. Così, guarda, fai il
Ah, ti sta bene?